Welcome into Miami Dolphins. Today I am your host, RC Maxfield, and listen, it's really the same old story at this point with the Dolphins, right? I mean, it's 6 in a row. I'm frustrated. You're frustrated. I need a beer. You need a beer. Maybe some mimosas before we really even watch the Dolphins. We'll be here together to get through this. Hit that big red button and subscribe. But before we jump into the overreactions, I just want to know, what is your biggest overreaction for the Dolphins after Week 7? I mean, my goodness, I thought Tua looked absolutely phenomenal in this one and led the Dolphins back to have a chance. Remember, up 28-27, and then tip your cap to Matt Ryan. Crazy enough, Xavier Howard gave up one completion in coverage yesterday. He had a 2.1% QB rating against. That is minuscule, right? But unfortunately for the Dolphins, the one pass he did allow was to Kyle Pitts on the final drive. Overall, it's going to be a really fun show. I'm really looking forward to it. I think there's going to be a lot to discuss, especially down in the comments. I always want to hear your thoughts on the Miami Dolphins. But overall, this is going to be a fun one because I think this is at the time of the year now for the Dolphins and the fan base where you're going to see people's true colors in a lot of ways and really what they want to do with this Dolphins franchise. So let's get this stuff started right here. The first overreaction I have for week number 7, the Dolphins should just keep Tua. Listen, if you go look in what kind of videos we had on this channel last week, I believe we put out 8 or 9 videos. I can't confirm nor deny the exact number. It was so many I got lost in a blur, to be honest with you. But when it comes down to it, Tua Tagovailoa played great, right? He really did. I mean, that's just the simple reality of it. Tua played phenomenal, I thought, outside of that one bad red zone throw and then that interception where he was trying to do too much. But even then, you have to credit him with at least a B-plus game in this one. And considering all the circumstances going on currently within the Dolphins organization about potentially trading for a certain quarterback that we will go in detail a little bit more on later. And speaking of quarterbacks, by the way, Reed Sinnett was claimed off of the waiver wire by the Philadelphia Eagles because, of course, you need another quarterback when you have Joe Flacco, Gardner Minshew, as well as Jalen Hurts, because why the hell not? But Tua, just talking about him, he's been phenomenal in the sense that I thought he handled this adversity with flying colors, right? I mean, you look at what Tua did and everything like that in the sense of just making it through adversity. More importantly, just the Dolphins' offense in general, real quick. Looking at these numbers, you have to be ecstatic about them, right? Considering what the hell went golly, really the whole season outside of maybe a week in Las Vegas. I mean, you've just been bad on offense, and Tua came in against the middle-of-the-pack Atlanta Falcons defense, probably closer to the bottom, but you're supposed to put up numbers against those teams, and you did that. I thought Tua, when it came down to it, looking at his stat line right here, 32 of 40, a 75% completion percentage, nearly 300 yards, the first 4 TD passing game that he's had in his career, and he did have those 2 interceptions, right? But overall, just looking at the numbers a little bit more closely, right, in terms of what Tua did, that 75% completion percentage is something that stands out to me in the sense of, yeah, he was dinking and dunking. I get it. It was a problem. That's this big knock on Tua Tagovailoa. But overall, looking at what he's done in terms of trying to make the progressions down the field, trying to take those shots, I mean, this was by far the best game of Tua Tagovailoa's career. I mean, he really looked like the franchise guy you wanted out of Alabama, even with all the injuries and everything. Again, he did make those 2 mistakes. Quarterbacks are going to make those mistakes. I get it. But overall, I thought you had to like what you saw from Tua yesterday, even with the offensive line playing below average again. But I feel like that's just the normal weekly basis for them because, well, they're shit. But let's move on. Could it be? Was this Tua's best game as a Dolphin? Crazy enough, it could be his last game as a Dolphin. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but let me know down in the comments. Type Y for yes or type N for no if you believe that in Week 7 against the Atlanta Falcons, that was Tua's best game of his young career so far. Let me tell you this, guys. I don't know how many times I got to tell you, but you need to head over to chatsports.com/bet. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. I'm going to get closer to the camera. Look at me. Do it. Like Shia LaBeouf in that famous gif. Do it. Go to chatsports.com/bet and use the promo code Dolphins125. I don't know how the hell you haven't done this yet, but if you do need another reason, producer Jeff apparently is going to throw a potentially free jersey on the screen. Is that correct, producer Jeff? Holy shit, that's a free jersey. Wow, you can get one of those. All you have to go do is go to chatsports.com/bet, use the promo code Dolphins125, and here we'll even put it on the screen for you. Holy shit, producer Jeff, this is amazing. They can do this? This is legal. It's legal. Holy crap. All right, here we go. Follow these steps with me, folks. Chatsports.com/bet. Dolphins125. Sign up and deposit at least $100. While you're at it, just deposit $200, and then they'll give you $250. I mean, come on. It's right there. Do it, right? And get 125% deposit bonus. Jeff, you're telling me this can get better. I just have to email jersey@chatsports.com, and then I can get a free Jalen Waddle jersey? That's literally what I have to do? Or a Tua jersey if you want to have something that's irrelevant here in a couple weeks. It's up to you, though, guys. Head on over to chatsports.com/bet and use the promo code Dolphins125 to have your chance at a free Jalen Waddle jersey. All you have to do is follow these steps on the screen. They will be down in the description below. And shout out to our sports book partners, BetUS. If you're not on there yet, I don't know what the hell you're doing at this point. Head on over to chatsports.com/tidebet. All right. Second overreaction I got. Offense is headed in the right direction. Yeah, this is definitely an overreaction. No, I'm just kidding. It's 100% factual. It's headed in the right direction because, well, it couldn't have headed in a worse direction because of how bad it was. Looking at the numbers for the Dolphins offense against the Falcons one more time, 413 yards, 28 points. Again, if you told me that they would have scored 28 points against Atlanta, probably thought they would have won, to be honest with you. I thought the secondary would have played better. These guys did play better, though, in the wide receiving core. I love what I'm seeing from Jalen Waddle. I love what I'm seeing from Mike Gesicki. Both of these guys are getting hyper-targeted, and I threw Matt Collins on there because, well, he's great on special teams, and he had a TD yesterday. I thought he was absolutely great in terms of what the Dolphins needed them to do in terms of him and the outside wide receiver, considering you were missing a couple of guys, and maybe Will Fuller comes back this week from IR. Who knows? But encouraging sign. This was the second week in a row of over 400 total yards for the offense. Again, this is what you want to see. You want to see progress. And now, maybe it's been a little bit easier. You're playing the Falcons. Okay, well, that makes sense. And you're playing catch-up, so you're going to have to pass the ball a little bit more. And that happens, right? But I like what I saw from Tua and the offense in back-to-back weeks. That's something that you haven't been able to say all season long in the sense of just the offense in general. And I know it's a little bit harder because you did have a backup quarterback in there for a few weeks. But the Dolphins offense seems like it's starting to hit its stride a little bit. Now the defense has to play catch-up. And we'll talk about the defense here in just a minute, but I have to know the answer to this question real quick. What is your confidence level in the Dolphins offense moving forward? Scale it 1 to 10 for me. And again, who knows how long Tua is going to be here? The trade deadline for the NFL is coming up on November 2nd, next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow. Is Tua going to be there? No, I don't know if Tua's going to be there. I don't know if Purdue is going to be there. I really don't. I do know one thing, and I know this for a fact. We will be here, and we need you to be here as well. Hit that big red button and subscribe. We're trying to get to 18,500 subscribers. We got to 18,000. Y'all answered my prayers on that one. Now we're just trying to get to that 20K mark as soon as possible. Hit that big red button and stay on the know on your Miami Dolphins all season long. Brian Flores will be fired next week. You came for the overreactions. I'm going to deliver. I told you it'd be a fun show. And listen, I will say this. I don't like predicting somebody being fired. I truly don't. Producer Jeff is laughing at me right now because I really don't. I don't want to see a guy fired. But when your defense does this, and you're a defensive-minded coach, I mean, what am I supposed to say at this point? You know what I'm saying? Like, you are hired to turn around a defense. You have a ton of money invested in this defense, and this is where you rank under Brian Flores this season. In the first season, I get it. It's the rebuild. Last year, you take a gigantic step. I mean gigantic. You were a top 6 defense in the NFL, and then you lay the biggest of eggs. I mean the biggest of eggs. Oh, my goodness. Clifford, if he was able to lay eggs, couldn't lay an egg this big. 31st in defense? You have 2 of the highest paid corners in the NFL. How the hell are you doing that? Like, how? But really the biggest issue I have with Brian Flores at this point is, What the hell are you doing at the coordinator positions? How the hell do you not have more experienced guys there? You have guys in Studsville as well as Godsey who have never called a play at the NFL level, and then you have Charlie Fry as like the ghost offensive coordinator in the background. What the hell are you doing? You have to make better decisions as the head coach when it comes to coordinators. You've had free reign of this, and you've been awful at it. That is what's going to end up getting Brian Flores fired after this week in Buffalo. Listen, I get it's Buffalo. Buffalo is one of the best teams in the NFL. I almost threw up in my mouth saying that, but let's just keep it real for the sake of keeping it real. You're 13.5-point dogs going up to the greater New York area. I don't even know where the heck it is. It's Buffalo, but I don't even know where the hell that is in the state. I'm not good at geography, but you get my point. They have an airport. That's cool. Anyway, if you lose there and you lose handedly, you are not getting on the plane, Brian Flores. You are done. You are losing 7 in a row at that point. I mean, I get that the guys are still trying to fight for him, but at some point you have to make a change, and Brian Flores is that change. He out of here? That's my simple question to you guys. Should Brian Flores be fired after this loss in terms of this week, or should we wait until Buffalo? For me, I'll give him till Buffalo, but if it's a blowout, oh, buddy, I think it might be clearing house time, because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know how many pieces are going to be on Miami if they lose 7 in a row, and that's my next overreaction. The Dolphins need to sell all their major pieces. I mean, all of them. Clear the deck, start over. I think Chris Greer has just made too many mistakes drafting in terms of just the offensive line. It's so frustrating. But here are some of the players that could be traded by Miami. I know what you're thinking, RC. How the hell are you going to trade Xavier Howard and Byron Jones? They're two of the best corners in football. Well, if you can get nice draft capital for them, why the hell not at this point? You're proving at this point that, especially if you make or keep Tua Tagovailoa, this is going to be a rebuild. Now, if you go and get Deshaun Watson, yeah, I think you got to keep these guys. But all options should be considered at this point. You're telling me right now, for example, if Green Bay comes forward and says, hey, we'll give you a first-round pick for Xavier Howard, you're not taking that? I'm taking that. You know why? Because I think that they're trying to get as much draft capital as possible to go get this guy, Deshaun Watson. Looking at those stats, you'd sure love to see him down in Miami, right? Almost a 68% completion percentage, over 14,500 yards, 104 TDs, and 36 interceptions. I mean, let's just be honest about it. He could be in the Dolphins QB room soon. I mean, you think about what Tua did this week. Absolutely phenomenal. Best game of his career, in my opinion. And let me know down in the comments if you think so as well. But you're trying to change this rebuild and change the fortunes of this franchise. Now, is there a lot of risk with going to get Deshaun Watson? No doubt. He's got 22 civil cases open against him. And the FBI is involved. There's risk here. But if you're an NFL team and there's rumors coming out that you were one of the finalists for him, if not the finalist for Deshaun Watson, I'll tell you this right now. You better have done your homework, and I think Miami has. And if they've done their homework and they make this deal for Deshaun Watson, they need to keep everybody. But if they don't, I think they might sell some of those pieces that I mentioned earlier. But be honest with me. Should the Dolphins sell at the deadline? Type B for buy, type S for sell. It's kind of weird, right? I mean, are the Dolphins 1-6 bad? I truly don't believe so. I think that this team has just had a lot of bad luck. Obviously, losing your quarterback for a few weeks into Tua Tagovailoa has obviously hurt them. But I think overall, I mean, you have to consider all options here in terms of getting the most draft capital you possibly can, especially after one of the weirdest draft day trades that I can remember, not taking the right wide receiver. But hey, what do I know? You know what I mean? What do I know at this point? I do know this. You should follow me on Twitter. If you haven't already, hit me up at RCMB323. I'm talking Dolphins as much as possible, trying to get you that content ASAP. Again, Jerome Baker, looks like he avoided some injuries in terms of serious injuries there. And then Reed Sinnett is no longer a part of the Dolphins organization as he was claimed off waivers from the Philadelphia Eagles. And now the Dolphins only have 2 quarterbacks in their QB room.